Most people think self-sabotage looks dramatic. Destroying relationships, quitting too soon, ruining opportunities, making reckless decisions. But the most dangerous self-sabotage is much quieter than that. Sometimes it looks like staying where you are, keeping the same routine, avoiding the conversation, delaying the decision, waiting until you feel ready, and the worst part? It feels responsible, it feels mature. It feels like you are being careful. But what if your brain is not protecting your future? What if your brain is protecting your old identity? That is the hidden psychology behind the mountain is you. Because the mountain in front of you is not always the problem. Sometimes, the mountain is the version of you that keeps choosing familiar pain over unfamiliar freedom. And once you see that pattern, you cannot unsee it. There was a woman who knew her life had become too small. She knew it when she woke up every morning and felt tired before the day even started. She knew it when she sat in traffic, staring through the windshield, wondering how many more years she could keep pretending this was fine. She knew it when she opened her laptop and felt her chest tighten before the workday began. And whenever someone asked how she was doing, she gave the same answer. I am fine. But she was not fine. She was exhausted. Not from one disaster, not from one failure, but from years of ignoring the quiet truth. She had outgrown her life, but every time she tried to change it, something stopped her. She would look for a better job, then close the application. She would think about starting a business, then decide she needed more research. She would want to speak up, then tell herself it was not the right time. She would imagine a bigger life, then shrink back into the one she already knew. From the outside, it looked like laziness. But inside her nervous system, something deeper was happening. Her brain had learned that familiar pain was safer than unknown possibility. And that is where self-sabotage begins. Not with destruction, with protection. But protection aimed at the wrong life. Most people misunderstand self-sabotage. They think it means you hate yourself, but often self-sabotage is not self-hate. It is self-protection. The problem is, your brain may be protecting you from the wrong thing. Your brain is not always asking, what will make me happy? It is often asking, what will keep me emotionally safe? And those are not the same question. Happiness requires growth. Growth requires uncertainty. Uncertainty creates discomfort, and discomfort makes the brain suspicious. So the brain pulls you back into what it knows. Even if what it knows is painful, that relationship you should have left, that job you resent, that small version of yourself, that habit you keep saying you will break. Your brain does not choose it because it is good. It chooses it because it is familiar. And familiar feels survivable. But here is where the trap gets cruel. Your brain can protect you from pain today by stealing your future tomorrow. The mountain is you is built around one brutal idea. Your biggest obstacle is usually not the outside world. It is the internal pattern that keeps recreating the same life. The mountain is not just fear. The mountain is avoidance. The mountain is the excuse. The mountain is the emotional pattern. The mountain is the identity that says, this is just who I am. But that sentence is dangerous. Because many people call their survival patterns a personality. They say, I am just not confident. I am just bad with money. I am just not disciplined. I am just not good at relationships. I am just an overthinker. But sometimes that is not identity. Sometimes that is conditioning. A person gets rejected once and learns to stop trying. A person fails publicly and learns to stay invisible. A person grows up around chaos and learns to fear peace. A person gets punished for speaking honestly and learns to people please. Years later, they think they are making choices, but often they are obeying old emotional programming, and that is why the same problem keeps showing up wearing different clothes, different job, same fear, different relationship, same pattern, different year, same small life. That is the mountain, not just what happened to you, but what your nervous system learned to do after it happened. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your brain does not automatically want your biggest life. It wants your most predictable life. Predictability lowers stress. Predictability creates control. Predictability tells the nervous system, We know how to survive this. That is why people stay stuck in situations they claim to hate. Not because they are weak, because the unknown version of life feels more threatening than the known pain. The known pain has rules. You know what to expect, you know how to behave, you know how to survive it. But growth? Growth has no guarantees. Growth asks you to become visible. Growth asks you to make decisions. Growth asks you to disappoint people. Growth asks you to stop hiding behind potential and start proving what you can actually do. And that is terrifying because potential is safe. Action is exposed. Potential lets you imagine who you could be. Action reveals who you are willing to become. And for many people, that exposure feels dangerous, not because growth is bad, but because visibility comes with judgment. And the brain hates judgment. This is the part most people miss. Avoidance feels like doing nothing, but psychologically, avoidance gives the brain a reward. Relief. You avoid the hard conversation. Relief. You avoid the application. Relief. You avoid the risk. Relief. You avoid the new identity. Relief. And your brain remembers relief. So next time, avoidance becomes easier. Then easier again. Then one day, avoiding your own growth becomes automatic. This is how people train themselves to stay small. Not all at once. One avoided decision at a time. One delayed action at a time. One not yet at a time. And eventually, not yet becomes a life. That relief is not freedom. It is training. And the nervous system is always learning. The question is, what are you teaching it? Are you teaching it that discomfort can be survived? Or are you teaching it that every uncomfortable door should stay closed? Imagine someone standing inside a cage. They hate the cage. They complain about the cage. They dream about leaving the cage. They read books about freedom. They watch videos about changing their life. But every time the door opens, they do not walk out. Why? Because outside the cage is unknown. Inside the cage is miserable, but familiar. That is how self-sabotage works. The prison is not always locked. Sometimes the door is open, but your nervous system has been trained to fear what is outside. So you stay. Then you call it timing. You call it being practical. You call it waiting for clarity. But deep down, you know the truth. You are not waiting for clarity. You are waiting for fear to disappear. And fear does not disappear first. Action comes first. Confidence comes later. This is the most frightening prison. Not the one locked from the outside. The one your nervous system convinces you to stay inside. The hardest part of growth is not learning something new. It is losing the old version of yourself. The version that was comfortable being unseen. The version that apologized for having needs. The version that stayed quiet to keep peace. The version that chose familiar pain because it knew how to survive there. That version of you had a purpose. It protected you. It helped you survive something. So you do not need to hate that version, but you cannot let it drive your future forever. Because survival patterns become prisons when the danger is gone. At some point, the identity that protected you becomes the identity that limits you. That is why growth can feel like grief. You are not just changing habits. You are separating from a version of yourself that once kept you safe. And this is why many people run back to the old life. Not because the old life was good, because the old identity was familiar. Growth does not only ask you to become more. It asks you to release the version of you that learned to survive with less. Self-sabotage rarely announces itself as fear. It usually sounds intelligent. It says, be realistic. Wait until you are ready. Do more research. Do not rush. Other people are better. You need a better plan. And sometimes caution is wise. But sometimes caution is fear wearing a clean shirt. That is why smart people fall for it. Because fear does not always feel emotional. Sometimes it feels like analysis. Sometimes it feels like strategy. Sometimes it feels like maturity. But the real question is this. Is this decision protecting my future or protecting my comfort? Because those two can look very similar. One leads to maturity. The other leads to regret. And regret usually does not arrive loudly. It arrives quietly. Years later, when you realize you did not fail because life stopped you. You failed because fear convinced you to wait. You do not rebuild your life with one massive decision. You rebuild your nervous system through repeated evidence, small acts of courage, small moments of visibility, small promises kept, small risks survived. You teach your brain, I can feel discomfort and still move. That is the key. Not eliminating fear, moving with it. Because your brain does not believe motivational speeches, it believes evidence. Every time you move while afraid, you give your nervous system proof. Discomfort is not death. Rejection is not death. Judgment is not death. Failure is not death. And slowly, the nervous system stops treating growth like danger. This is how small becomes bigger. Not overnight, not through one inspirational moment, but through repeated proof that you can survive the very thing your old identity feared. This is where artificial intelligence becomes interesting. AI can act like a mirror. It can help you see patterns that your emotions keep hiding. You can ask it, what excuses do I keep repeating? What fear is hiding inside this decision? What would I do if I was not trying to stay safe? How can I practice this conversation? What is one small action I can take today? That matters because the brain fears uncertainty more than difficulty. Practice reduces uncertainty. Reflection exposes patterns. Language makes fear visible, but AI cannot walk out of the cage for you. It can show you the pattern. It can help you rehearse the move. It can expose the loop. But you still have to take the step. Because transformation is not information. Transformation is behavior repeated until your identity changes. The mountain is not there to punish you. The mountain is there to reveal you. It shows you what you avoid, what you fear, what you keep protecting, what old identity still has control. And once you see the pattern, you have a choice. You can keep calling it personality, or you can start calling it what it is, a survival strategy that has expired. The version of you that stayed small may have kept you safe, but the version of you that grows will have to do something different. It will have to tolerate discomfort. It will have to risk being seen. It will have to stop choosing familiar pain just because it knows the rules. And that is when the real question appears. Do you want the familiar life or the honest one? So if your life feels small right now, do not immediately call yourself lazy. Look deeper. Ask, what am I avoiding? What familiar pain am I choosing? What identity am I protecting? What would I do if I stopped confusing safety with growth? Because your brain may be training you to stay small, but you can train it back. One brave decision at a time. One uncomfortable action at a time. One honest question at a time. And maybe the mountain was never there to stop you. Maybe the mountain was there to show you exactly who you had to become. The mountain was never there to punish you. It was there to reveal the version of you that learned to survive small. And now you have to decide. Do you keep protecting that version? Or finally become the one who climbs? This is Wonder Jenny and the Robot. Human wisdom times AI intelligence. Subscribe for more psychology, neuroscience, and book breakdowns that reveal how the mind really works. And comment below, what keeps people small the most? 1. Fear. 2. Comfort. 3. Old identity. Comment 1, 2, or 3. Because the life you want may not require a new world. It may require a new nervous system,